Hello, welcome to my channel, another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and I have completed the Read What You Own Platinum Challenge, where I challenged myself to read 100 books that I already own before buying another book. I finished on Sunday, and the final 3 books that I read, the first was Struwwelpeter in English translation by Heinrich Hoffmann. This is a collection of children's poetry from 1848, originally written in German, and they've been translated into English in the early 20th century. And these were not poems that I think most parents would read to their children nowadays. I learned about this from Vin at Revenant Reads. He read a poem out of here for Poetry Thursday sometime last year. That was the story of little Suck-a-Thumb. And in that story, a naughty little boy sucks his thumb. And as a punishment, a man comes out and cuts off his thumbs. You know, I don't think parents would go for it nowadays, but they're interesting. And here's another one right here. This is the story of Augustus, who would not have any soup. Augustus was a chubby lad, fat ruddy cheeks Augustus had, and everybody saw with joy the plump and hearty, healthy boy. He ate and drank as he was told, and never let his soup get cold. But one day, one cold winter's day, he screamed out, "Take the soup away! Oh, take the nasty soup away! I won't have any soup today." First picture, you see Augustus as a fat, chubby little boy. Next day, now look, the picture shows how lank and lean Augustus grows. Yet though he feels so weak and ill, the naughty fellow cries out still, "Not any soup for me, I say. Oh, take the nasty soup away. I won't have any soup today." And he gets just a little thinner. The third day comes. Oh, what a sin to make himself so pale and thin. Yet when the soup is put on table, he screams as loud as he is able, "Not any soup for me, I say. Oh, take the nasty soup away. I won't have any soup today." And he is, of course, very thin. Look at him now, the 4th day's come. He scarcely weighs a sugar plum. And he's like a little bit of thread. And on the 5th day, he was dead. Now that's children's poetry, in my humble opinion. If I had kids, maybe not. But it's interesting to read what people thought was appropriate for children in 1848. A fun little book. That was book 98. For 99, I read a police procedural. Ed McBain, Give the Boys a Great Big Hand. This is Criminali's favorite author from his favorite series. It is set in a city that is not called New York City, but it's New York City. He just changes the name so his readers can't complain if he makes some geographical mistakes, like when police park on the wrong side of the street at a certain time of day. But this book starts off with the police officer getting off work, and he sees what appears to be a man in a raincoat carrying an airline bag, and the man accidentally leaves the airline bag at the bus stop. The police officer tries to catch the bus and chase it down, but it's unsuccessful. And then when he looks in the airline bag, looking for identification, he he finds a severed human hand. And that takes the case. How do they discover who this hand belongs to? What happened to the person? And it is a police procedural, so you have all the police officers going through all the routines they need to do to find where that hand came from. But then another hand shows up, apparently from the same body. Now, this is a fun little read. I have read about 5 Ed McBains in the past year. They do get a little repetitive. You very much get the feel that Ed McBain is working off a formula. It's a pretty good formula, but it's still a formula. This is probably not the book to start with if you wanted an 87th Precinct, but who knows? Maybe it is. Maybe it'll be just fine. It's recommended, but not highly recommended. And the pièce de résistance, book 100, My Marching Mammoth, The Recognitions by William Gaddis. This is a freaking fantastic book. It is one of the best examples of postmodern literature. On the very, very surface, it is the story of a man named Wyatt who is forging artwork so someone else can sell it for a profit. Now, the thing I learned about here is that it is perfectly acceptable and legal to forge a piece of artwork, or let's just say copy a piece of artwork and make it indistinguishable or nearly indistinguishable from the original. The actual crime and actual forgery occurs when you want to put your signature on it. If you sign it by the person, someone else's name, that is the true forgery. And I said, this book is just an amazing piece of writing. Not everyone is going to like this writing. He's a very dense, very complex. And he goes off on long, long diversions, let's say. You could be at a New York party, and it's just conversations between the guests at this party. And there are strains of conversation. There are phrases that pick up and drift from person to person and morph and change, just like you would see at any party. And then there is some dialogue. While I was reading this, I was also listening to the audiobook, which really helped me focus on this text, because this text, if you are not real careful, your mind can wander a bit. And in this audiobook, there are some characters who are, let's just say, intoxicated. And they speak like intoxicated people, like, what the fuck do you mean? No, do you understand what I meant? You probably know what I'm saying. But when he writes it on the page, he writes it all as one word. What the fuck do you mean? And you're kind of looking at it and go, okay, but when you hear it, the narrator, who as Nick Sullivan, does an excellent, excellent job of narration. I don't know why he's not a more popular narrator, because he just nails this. He gets characters right. He gets voices right. Perfect audio narration, especially for this book. I'm going to be doing a live show with Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics. This was a buddy read, and we both immensely enjoyed this book. We also did a buddy read of Gaddis's J.R. last year. I think I prefer J.R. a little more. So does Alan. I know I was talking to Steve Donahue, who thinks this is better than J.R. So there is room for people with different opinions. But still, if you want a complex book, a hard book, a book that is ultimately very rewarding when you turn that last page, this is it. And that is my 100 book challenge. I am done. And now it is on to the 500 book challenge. I don't know if I'm going to be able to succeed at the 500 book challenge. That is going to take me 60 or 40 more months to complete if I read at the same pace. The only thing is, I've been reading a lot of very short books to get this 100 book challenge done. And for the most part, I like those short books. but I want to dig into some longer books, books that are 400, 500 pages long, and even some that are longer. I want to read more mammoths because I do like big, hard books. I love long mammoth books, and I want to read a few more of those. So if I stick with the 500 book challenge, it's probably going to take me a little longer for each 100 books than I've been doing since November. And I also want to change up the rules that I have applied for the 100 book challenge. I always said that I would revisit the rules once the 100 book challenge is done. A lot of those rules are going to stay the same. One of the rules I was toying with was having what I was going to call festival nights. And a festival night is based on all that carnival where you dress up in masquerade and you can do whatever you want on that festival night, and it does not count the next day what you did. You don't have to talk about it. And those festival nights were from when I was on travel, because I'm going to be doing some traveling. Sooner or later, I'm going to go to New York City and visit the Strand bookstore. I don't want to visit that bookstore and not buy books. I might visit Boston. You know, Steve Donahue's hangout where he has the Brattle bookshop. I don't want to visit the Brattle bookshop and not buy books. I don't want to visit Wales and go to the town of Hay-on-Wye and not shop at those bookstores. But I've been thinking about it, and I think festival nights are a little bit of a cheat. So I'm basically dooming myself to fail because I'm not going to include festival nights in the 500 book challenge. If I go on travel and I buy a book at one of those bookstores, I just fail the 500 book challenge. I'm okay with that. I'm just saying, I have to understand that I will probably fail the 500 book challenge. Also, a slight change is that while we're calling this a read what you own, I'm going to take a very liberal view of what I own. If I read a book from the public library for a challenge or a buddy read, I'm going to go ahead and count that as a book read and count it towards my 500. Yeah, technically I may not own the books in the public library, but I do pay taxes to that public library. And I think that's at least an acceptable reason to include those books. So that's about it. I'm sticking with the rest. Again, my audiobook credit counts towards books. I am allowed to buy another year's supply of audiobooks because come October, my subscription will renew and I'll get 24 more credits from Audible. And I'm sticking with my Audible subscription. I'm not giving that up for anything. And of course, I can buy books for buddy reads, group reads, the BookTube prize, stuff like that. And again, I will still count those towards my completion of the 500 book challenge, even if I have to go out and buy them, because I am reading them for a purpose. Now, what would count as a failure is if I just go out and buy a book and read it because I wanted to buy it. That would be the failure. Well, anyway, I want to thank Ollie for starting this 100 book challenge more than a year ago, because this is year 2 of the 100 book challenge. And to have Ollie sort of as a partner in crime in these reading 100 books is a lot of fun. And all the people on his Discord channel and MJ's Discord channels who are participating in the different levels of the Read What You Own challenge. I want to thank you all for participating as well, and hope you all can succeed in the challenge at whatever level you are choosing to participate at. Because, I'm retired. I can read a lot more books than someone who has a day job and kids. They're not going to get through 100 books as fast as I am. I mean, I'm a slow reader, but that's all I have to do all day. Besides, take care of my cats, So anyway, thank you, everyone, for watching. And everyone, keep on reading.